Hello, I'm Dr. Rick Chambers, and welcome to another edition of Health, Happiness, and Harmony Partner Training videos. Today we continue the Parabola Project, where we are looking at a series of articles within the issue on goodness. I'm going to look at two articles today. The first is The Art of Goodness, Pacific Rim Parks and the Artistic Vision of James T. Hubble. The article is by Ariel Bleth. And over a period of 20 years, James T. Hubble has overseen the building of 7 parks in 7 countries that touch the Pacific and hopes to eventually have a park in all 41. The idea is to accent a symbolic pearl to remind people to value culture and conservation in addition to trade and economy. And he described his motivation as an urgency to find a roadmap to help navigate in a world of divisions. And so anytime you hear these words together, mapping and navigating, it's very close to our ongoing projects. Also, goodness is defined as an ongoing choice to create and acknowledge through beauty our connection to wholeness. And the phrase uses the phrase, follow beauty. Again, this connects to all of our central projects. They developed a process called Soil and Soul that brings together an artist, a construction coordinator, and a community builder. All of this fits this connection between art, beauty, and goodness to our other teaching that aesthetic and moral values are both found within the vital part of the self and so are intimately related. It is also a representative of a postmodern approach to goodness. They're using art to reimagine the world, and they make specific. It's not the pretty beauty of the traditional and not the ugly beauty of the modern. They are combining art and storytelling to create myth. The Pearls was suggested by a Russian student working on the first park. The pearl starts out as an irritant but transforms into something beautiful. And this relates to our idea of soul and connecting it with the butterfly and transformation, that the soul is connected to transformation. The ocean is seen as something that separates but also connects the country, and there's an effort to highlight both the similarities while encouraging differences. And this way of double thinking or thinking about two sides of a dichotomy and seeing how they relate is an essential part to the postmodern approach and way of thought. They're also trying to imagine a myth, using storytelling and art to create a myth that makes possible a world that is balanced, human, functional, and beautiful. And I think these are excellent destinations, beacons, targets to aim at. The second article will probably be more familiar to people. It's Arriving at Moral Perfection, Benjamin Franklin's Traditional Approach. So Benjamin Franklin wrote this in 1728. When he was 22, he conceived a bold and arduous project of arriving at moral perfection. I'm not sure if I was that interested in moral perfection when I was 22, but Benjamin Franklin stated he wished to live without committing any fault at any time. And so to work on this, he was not going to build this by an endeavor to become perfect, but by the more Socratic way of eliminating failures and faults. I would conquer all faults that natural inclination, custom, and company might lead me into. So he knew he would be challenged by these 3 things. He named 13 virtues that occurred to him as necessary and desirable. His method was to pick one of these virtues and log failures to enact this virtue. And he worked at it many years, but he found this process far harder than he imagined and eventually found himself incorrigible on the virtue of order. However, and this is the main point of this effort, though I never arrived at perfection, yet I was by the endeavor a happier and a better man. Very important to our projects, Benjamin Franklin created a serviceable behavioral definition for each virtue. It was central to his method, but it relates to our ongoing project around the importance of behavioral definition. And then I want to highlight, one of the defining assumptions within a traditional worldview is the focus on goodness. The assumption that the best way to be happy is to be good or virtuous. This is contrasted with the modern view that individuals are not expected to strive toward success. The difference between traditional and modern is that in the modern, individuals are more expected to strive toward success and happiness, whereas in the traditional, there's an effort to strive toward goodness, thinking that success and happiness will follow. This is also a central element of parenting and a difference between parenting within a modern worldview or even a postmodern worldview and parenting within a traditional worldview. Children are expected and brought up or raised toward being good, much more so than toward being happy or even being successful or accomplishments. So, thank you for tuning in to this edition of Health, Happiness, and Harmony Partner Training.